Hey everybody, it's me again, Jack. Thanks for watching this video, and I'm here for the long overdue update video that I promised in the last one. First and foremost, introductions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jack, and I used to produce content online, mostly on YouTube, under the pseudonym Incrediguy. I wasn't that particularly much of a hit back then, well, at least for today's standards. But yeah, I had my own thing going on back then, producing tech tutorials ranging from Adobe Photoshop to Sony Vegas, and I was the owner of 6 websites in which I blogged about tech help and pretty much anything else related to technology, that which all primarily aimed to help people. And I think it's fair to say that I had a good thing going. I had a fair number of followers, and I'd like to think that I was good at it. I've actually been looking a lot back to those days recently because naturally I'm already in that phase in my life where you start to get nostalgic and miss your childhood and all because you realize you're no longer a kid. And looking back, it was crazy. It was nonsense, complete and utterly nonsense. Me talking to a camera or a microphone almost every week, it was nonsense. And yet it always brings a smile to my face whenever I reminisce about those days. Most kids my age those days were either out riding bikes or playing online games, yet there I was making videos, experimenting with softwares like Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects, or Sony Vegas, or either experimenting with every Linux distribution that I could find. And I was doing YouTube in every sense of the word, before it even existed as it now does today. But as you may have noticed, minus the video that I posted early on this month, I haven't been active for 6 years. And honestly, there are days when I wonder how the hell that happened. Because it certainly didn't feel like 6 years to me. I don't really perceive time the way people normally do. 6 years only feels just like yesterday to me. I am one who really loves work, and I can't stand being bored, I can't stand being idle. That's why whenever I find something to do, I really get sunk into it and I don't notice that any time passes at all. And that's why over the years I have become this creature that exists outside of normal time. And I don't mind that at all. I don't mind being unstuck from this illusion of time and being bound by it. However, I have noticed one thing, and it's the sad truth about life. It's that we get older. I have gotten older, and I will get even older even though I don't share mankind's obsession with measuring time. That's why I have decided to put more of myself out there. And it's not out of sheer narcissism or the desire to satisfy vanity, but in fact quite the opposite. I want to be doing more productive things with my time. I mean, not that I'm not already doing anything productive right now. In fact, I'm really loaded at the moment with college. I guess you could say that this is me realizing my own mortality, and as much as possible, I'd like to be doing all these things right now while I'm still in this age. I want to be making a difference, helping people whenever I can, and I think I'd like to be remembered like that. When I look back to all those years ago, back in 2006 when I first started doing YouTube, I remember all the passion that I put into it. Sure, when I first started doing it, it was probably because a lot of people were already doing it at the time, and because it was cool, because it was exciting, but I stayed and I continued to do it because I realized that there's no greater feeling than the feeling of having helped someone or having lent a hand. Sure, when I watch my old videos now, it's awkward and it's cringing, and there were times when I might have sucked, but you know, when you round it all up, all that doesn't really matter because it was all out of the desire of helping people. I mean, there I was producing all these tutorials and I never asked for anything in return. And I love that about myself. That's why, effective immediately, I'm reinstating my online presence and the channel is back up again. Well, pretty much, life happened. I eventually graduated out of high school and I have been in college for most of that time. I am now in my 3rd and last year of film school. I used to be in music school until I realized that I wanted to make music, so I eventually dropped out. I have a pretty hectic schedule in film school. As I have said, I am now in my last year. That basically means that I have a lot of stuff going on. I normally have film shoots every week, so I'm very busy and I'm always tired, but I love it. And pretty soon I'll be starting work on my thesis film. But the trick is, how am I gonna add that extra load of producing YouTube videos? Well, honestly, I have no clue. And that's what I like about all this. It will be one hell of a challenge, and I love challenges. I like putting myself in tough and seemingly impossible situations. I like having to work real hard and I like going out of my comfort zone. But for now, actually, it's our term break until September starts, so I have some time to brainstorm some video ideas and record a huge pile of them. But this time around though, I won't let myself be pressured by schedules and deadlines. When I look back on my old YouTube videos, I noticed that Most of the time, I'm apologizing for not having made videos in a while or for not having met schedules I don't know why I even impose on myself. YouTubers now and even then always had schedules, and I get that that probably has a huge part to play in finding success in doing this sort of thing. But before I even get started again, I want to draw the line and separate myself from all of that. This time around, I won't be having those kinds of limits and parameters. I won't be setting schedules and deadlines. I will be uploading videos when I can, and I won't be limiting my content to a specific thing. That way, it will be infinite and no one will ever get disappointed. I also understand that YouTube has become an accepted form of occupation and source of income, but I really won't be coming back to YouTube for all that. That is not my main motive. Yes, that indeed will help me out a lot considering what I am currently majoring in, even more so now that I'm nearing my thesis days. I admit that it certainly would be desirable to have that extra source of funding, but I still cannot stress this enough. I'm not in this for that. My main motive has always been to help people, and that's what I'm here to do. To hell with views, to hell with subscribers, and getting paid for it. I'm here to do a free service for the people, and I'm not really concerned as to whether or not I eventually make it so that I get something back for it. I have always been good with Sony Vegas, and my Sony Vegas tutorials in the past have always been well received. That's why for now I will be focusing on making more Sony Vegas tutorials. I understand that it's a difficult software to learn, and I just think it pointless that I have all these skills and expertise on it and not share it with people. And besides, back then when I was first learning Sony Vegas, online tutorials were hard to come by, and I had to learn most of it on my own. That's why I know how hard it can be to learn without in-depth and professionally made tutorials. Sony Vegas can actually be a really powerful video editing tool once you really learn how to use it. And I'm actually a bit surprised that not a lot of people are using it today. I'm still using it despite the fact that everyone else in film school is using Adobe Premiere. And it's not really out of preference or lack of experience, but out of habit. Sony Vegas was the first non-linear video editing tool that I first learned to use, and it's always been the one I heavily used back then, and it just became a habit, I guess. However, I do plan to eventually venture out into making Adobe Premiere and After Effects tutorials, Photoshop tutorials. I guess I could be doing Photoshop tutorials too. I mean, I was good at it back then, but I haven't been updated with the latest things about it as I don't normally get to use it anymore these days. So my knowledge of Photoshop may or may not be old school, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. One other major content that I'd like to produce for this channel are filmmaking tutorials, and these can range between DIY tips to professional how-to guides. I basically plan on sharing what I have learned so far in film school for those people who are interested in learning filmmaking but can't afford to go to film school. I might also get to do some DaVinci Resolve tutorials as I'm using it anyway to grade my films, but that might be dependent on whether or not I can find a way to safely record my screen while running Resolve, seeing as my laptop can barely run it without any lag as it is. And I guess those are the main things so far that I want to focus on this channel. And if ever I make other tutorials that are not related to video and photo editing, they'll fall under the category of general, and these include your regular Windows how-to guides like the last video that I uploaded. Also, I would like to ask you, the viewers, what you would like to see in this channel in the future. If you have any suggestions or any requests, please do put them on the comment sections below. In my early days of YouTube, I used to do a lot of tech reviews, and that basically meant that I review whatever tech that I could get on my hands. Obviously, I won't be doing that anymore because I really can't afford to be buying new stuff all the time. And I'm a minimalist anyway, I don't really buy new things all the time, so no, I won't be doing any tech reviews in the near future. Also, as much as I want to, I really won't be getting a new website anytime soon because obviously those things are just expensive and a hassle to maintain. Okay, moving on to the last part of this already long video, in which I finally answer some of the famous questions I used to get asked often. This is a question I used to get asked a lot. Well, not really so much a question, but more like a general bashing sort of thing. I know my accent was terrible, and I'm sorry. I'm from a place called Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Well, at least that's where I was brought up, but I'm not really of Middle Eastern descent. I'm what you would call a third culture kid, which basically means that I spent most of my early life in a foreign country with my parents as expatriates. My parents are actually Filipinos, so I studied in international schools all my life. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason for my accent. Well, at least the accent that I had in my videos back then. I had what you would call an international school accent. I was basically taught to speak 3 languages: English, Arabic, and Filipino. So those of you who have no idea what that's like don't have any right at all to post any rude comments. But over the years, I'd like to think that I have enhanced or made better my accent, as you may have already noticed. So hopefully we won't be having any more problems with comprehension. Sadly, I eventually had to leave my home, as you know, to study in college, as education for expats in Saudi Arabia still is limited even today. I am now studying and residing in Manila, and I'm living here on my own. And it's not actually the best places to be completely honest, but the fact that I'm going to one of the best and most expensive film schools in the country sometimes makes me forget how much I miss my home. Although for privacy reasons, I don't really want to disclose the name of the school that I go to. Besides this YouTube channel, I'm also already active in another YouTube channel in which I sometimes upload my films that I make in school, and sometimes I upload original songs and covers too. But if you're curious about it, I'm actually planning to produce a different kind of content specifically for that channel only. I have a lot of film projects planned anyway, so might as well have some place to upload them. Also, I plan to be recording more of my original songs as I write a lot of them and I'm running out of space on my SoundCloud account anyway. So one other thing that I plan on doing is doing a sort of vlog-like series. And I say vlog-like because normal vlogs for people basically mean talking about their days or what they did or where they went. I don't plan on doing any of that. I know it's quite complicated to explain, but I am one who has a lot of views, beliefs, and different personal feelings about certain things, and I normally express those things in the form of films, poetry, songs, or what have you. So it really would be interesting to me to have a new avenue in which I can freely express myself like that. But anyway, I haven't really planned any of it in great detail, and that's the beauty of it. I will be putting out whatever content I feel like, and naturally as they come to me, and in my own speed. And I guess that's basically it for this update video. Hope you all have been adequately updated. Those are all my plans for this channel and more. Hope you enjoyed the up close and personal vibe of this video. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, click like, comment, and share this video. The more people know about this channel, the more people can enjoy free professional grade tutorials. And if you've made it this far into the video, then thank you for watching. And lastly, thank you to all those people who've continued to support me over the years despite my inactivity. And that's it, I guess. I will see you all in the near future. Bye.